Losing a spouse after 60. Absolutely do not do these 5 things if you don't want to regret it. Hello, elders, uncles, aunts, and friends who are listening. I am Dr. David. Throughout my medical career, I have witnessed thousands of cases, but there is a type of disease that is not in the textbooks, yet it silently destroys the health of seniors more terribly than high blood pressure or diabetes. That is the pain of losing a spouse. Losing the person who shared your life after the age of 60 is not just a loss. It is an earthquake that changes the entire landscape of your life. The empty space on the bed every morning, the haunting silence in every meal. It is heavier than any words can describe. But, dear elders, the greatest kindness we can show to the deceased is to continue living a life of dignity. Today, I will go deep with you into the healing journey, facing the void, protecting mind and finance. We will talk about 2 vital things that you absolutely must say no to. But before we dive into the content, if you find these insights helpful, please click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Your companionship is the mental medicine that drives me to continue making these videos. Now let's get started. 1. Say no to major decisions when emotions are in the driver's seat. In geriatric medicine, we have a term for the early period after a loss called cognitive fog. Imagine our brain as a car. Normally, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for logical decisions, calculations, and thorough thinking, is the driver. But when a shock that is too large hits, this driver is knocked unconscious. Instead, the emotional brain system, amygdala, jumps in to grab the steering wheel. When emotions are driving, the car of your life can easily plunge off a cliff. The mistakes named instant. I have encountered many cases where seniors sold their houses immediately just a few weeks after the funeral. The reason? I can't bear to see the chair he used to sit in. Or this house is too large and too painful. But, dear elders, the pain at that time is acute pain. You are trying to cut off memories to reduce the pain, just as one might want to amputate a wounded arm. But a house is not just bricks and stones. It is a giant diary, containing 30 or 40 years of your life. My golden rule is the 365-day rule. Do not make any major financial or real estate decisions within the first year. Do not sell the house. Do not give away all the deceased's possessions immediately. Do not sign for loans or venture investments based on others' advice when your mind is not yet stable. The memory today might be a knife that hurts you, but 1 year later, when the fog clears, those very memories will be the anchor and the warmth that help you feel your partner is still by your side. Ms. Alice, a patient of mine, lost her husband suddenly at age 69. Panicked and in pain, she sold the house they had lived in for 40 years just 1 month later to move into an unfamiliar apartment. Meeting her a year later, she sobbed, "Dear David, I lost him once, but I personally lost him a second time when I sold that house. There were scratches on the floor he made, rose bushes he planted. Now I have nothing left to touch." Do not let yourself fall into Alice's situation. Be patient with your own pain. Say, "I am not ready to decide yet," to anyone who is pressuring you. 2. Say no to isolation and self-pity. After the funeral is over and the guests have all left, that is when true loneliness strikes. Many seniors begin to withdraw into their shells. The silent killer named isolation. From a medical perspective, isolation in the elderly is not just sadness. It is a dangerous condition. When you do not communicate, cortisol levels, stress hormone, rise, weakening the immune system, increasing the risk of stroke, and especially increasing the risk of depression by up to 40%. Many seniors tell me, "I stay alone to remain faithful," or "I am old now, talking to anyone feels out of place, so staying home is better so as not to bother the children." That is an extremely dangerous misconception. If your partner were still alive, would they want to see the person they love most slowly wither away in the dark? The answer is certainly no. Faithfulness does not mean dying with the deceased. Faithfulness means living the rest of your life well to honor the love of the two of you. Remember, live alone but do not be lonely. Small connections. You don't need to travel far. Just go to the park every morning for a walk, greet a neighbor, or simply sit for coffee at a familiar spot where people pass by. Participate in community activities. gardening, joining a poetry club, or a senior citizens association. These activities help the brain produce oxytocin and dopamine, the happiness hormones that help heal heart wounds. Mr. Frank, 77 years old, used to be a strong man, but after his wife passed away, he locked himself in the house for a whole year. He neglected the garden, didn't bother to shave, and wouldn't answer anyone. One day, his daughter forced him to go see a local choir performance. When he heard the melodies his wife used to love, instead of suffering, he felt a strange relief. He realized, she is not in the cemetery. She is in these songs. Mr. Frank joined that choir. At age 77, he started learning to sing and began to smile again. He told me, "Doctor, do you know when I sing, I feel her warmth right beside me. Isolation will tell you. You are so lonely, no one understands you. Do not believe it. That is a lie told by pain. You still have value, you still have stories to tell, and there is still this world to explore." 3. Say no to financial dependence too early. Throughout my years as a geriatrician, I have noticed a painful rule. A person's right to self-determination is directly proportional to their financial capability. As long as you hold the assets, you have a voice. When you let go too early, you unintentionally strip away your own self-respect. Money is not just a number. It is the power of old age. Many seniors, after losing a spouse, fall into a state of giving up, thinking, "Now that I am alone, how much do I really spend? I'll just give it all to the children to keep for peace of mind. They will take care of me later anyway." Dear elders, loving your children is an instinct, but blindly trusting the future is a mistake. You need to understand that your children's lives are also full of fluctuations. Debt, divorce, business losses. When you hand over all your savings books and bank accounts, you place yourself in a passive position. If the children unfortunately encounter an accident, the retirement money you and your spouse saved all your lives could vanish in the blink of an eye. Keep the assets in your name. If you need support, hire a financial expert or ask your children for technical help, like how to use a banking app, but absolutely do not hand over ownership. Use that money to take care of your health, travel, or do things you enjoy without having to look at anyone's face. Mr. George, a former patient of mine, handed over all management of his pension account to his son after his wife died. Believing he studied finance, he will handle it better than me. However, just a few months later, when he wanted to buy a new set of golf clubs to play with friends for relief, his son said, "Dad, you're old now, buying that set is wasteful. Let's keep that money to pay for the grandchildren's tuition." Do you see? From the head of the household, Mr. George suddenly had to ask permission to spend his own money. That feeling is like having your wings clipped just as you are learning to fly again. Do not let yourself become Mr. George. Financial autonomy is the ultimate freedom. 4. Say no to moving in together too hastily. The invitation mom/dad, "Come live with us for fun." So there's a grandmother/grandfather for the kids sounds very warm and filial. However, from a socio-psychological perspective, this is a sweet trap that can ruin family relationships. Why is living separately a way to love? Every generation has a different rhythm of life. You like waking up early, eating light food, and silence. The children stay up late, like fast food and loud music. When you move in together, you are no longer the homeowner but become a long-term guest. Many seniors confide in me that they feel like invisible people in their children's homes. They have to tiptoe so as not to wake the grandchildren, and eat dishes they don't like so as not to upset the daughter-in-law. Gradually, freedom is suffocated, and instead of joy, you feel like a silent burden. Advice: keep your own private key. Living near children and grandchildren is good, but living together requires extremely careful consideration. A small house or an apartment near the children's home is the best choice. You can visit the grandchildren at any time, but at night you still have a private place to return to be yourself. Ms. Helen moved in with her daughter immediately after her husband's funeral. A year later, she quietly rented a small apartment nearby. She said one thing to me that I will always remember. "Doctor, do you know, I love my daughter very much, but I love having my own key even more. Here, I can sleep when I want, eat what I cook, and I don't have to look at anyone's face to live. Love is only truly sustainable when it has room to breathe. 5. Say no to neglecting health and daily routines. This is the most important thing I want to say as a doctor. When losing a partner, many people fall into a silent state of self-destruction. Skipping meals, losing sleep, avoiding exercise, and even skipping medical treatments. Medical perspective, broken heart syndrome, Takotsubo. Do you know, medicine has a term called broken heart syndrome. Extreme stress after a loss can suddenly weaken the heart muscle, causing symptoms identical to a heart attack. If you neglect your body at this time, you are directly shortening your lifespan. Pain lives in the heart, but it destroys the body. When you do not eat, the immune system declines. When you do not move, muscles atrophy quickly. Many think continuing to live is a betrayal of the deceased, but the truth is quite the opposite. Your body is the legacy, the most vivid memory of your partner. Taking care of yourself is the best way to honor that love. Action today, small rituals. Do not try to do grand things. Start with small tasks. Eat regular meals. Even if it's just a bowl of porridge or a salad, eat with appreciation. Light exercise. 15 minutes of walking every morning helps the brain release endorphins, the natural painkiller. Periodic checkups. Do not ignore any signals from your body. Create new habits. Brew coffee the way she used to like it. Sit by the window and watch the sunrise. Turn pain into contemplation. After his wife died, Mr. Robert once neglected his garden and health. But one morning, he looked in the mirror and saw himself too haggard. He remembered his wife's words on her deathbed. "You must live for my part too." He started practicing again, joining a yoga group for seniors. He said, "When I take care of this body, I feel I am protecting the house that my wife had cared for 50 years. Dear elders, the journey ahead may still have many tears, but it is also a new chapter full of opportunities for you to discover your inner strength. Living smart after loss is not about forgetting the past, but about turning love into motivation to live a more meaningful life. Be brave to say no to outside pressures and bad habits within. Say yes to peace, freedom, and health. If this video has touched your heart, please leave a comment below. If any of you are considering moving in with your children, please comment number 4. If any of you feel isolated, please comment number 2. I will read and respond to each of your comments like a friend and a companion doctor. Don't forget to like, share, and especially subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos about health and geriatric psychology. Thank you for listening. I wish you a life of peace and health. I am Dr. David. See you again.